And as you're dropping into your breath, just begin to scan your body. Let's start at the top of your head. And with your exhale, just begin to move your awareness down the body. And you're just scanning and softening as you go. Softening the space behind the eyes, soften the jaw, the shoulders relax. And we're just allowing the mind to take a back seat just for this practice. And as you exhale, allowing your consciousness to drop into the body, down into the heart, and maybe pausing at the heart and breathing in and out of the heart space for a moment, just taking inventory there. Maybe you haven't checked in all day and just notice what's here. And continue to just scan down maybe the arms and hands, fingertips, just at your own pace, moving consciousness down the body and gathering information. So you're just noticing points in the body that maybe you haven't noticed or trying to speak to you. Maybe through sensation, just pulling at your awareness. And when you notice an area of the body that's talking to you, just internally, you can just say, I see you and I'm listening. Using those exhales to continue down the body. Feeling gravity holding you here, the weight of your body against the earth. On the legs and feet. So whether you're sitting on the ground or if your feet are on the ground, it doesn't really matter, but whatever the point of contact is to the earth, let's just send our focus there for a minute. So breathe into whether it's your feet, your sit bones, just breathe into that contact point. This is kind of our first acknowledgement of the land. So I want to just acknowledge here, honoring the indigenous people, the Native Hawaiians, and that we're grateful that they allow us to visit and create incredible memories and experiences here. And we vow to protect the land and to honor it and also honor their culture. So just really feeling into that for a moment. And setting your intention to connect with this land through time and space. Through this call, through this connection. And as you're breathing into this connection point, this is where you can first ask permission in your own way, and then make your offering. There's no right or wrong way to do that. So let's just all do that in our own way. Take a moment for that. Always with gratitude. And when it feels right for you, you can send a grounding cord into this earth. You can use your breath, your exhale. You can send it through the bottoms of your feet, maybe through your sit bones, but send a grounding cord down into the earth with your intention, your offering. and connect in to the core of the earth. So connecting in here. So feeling yourself really rooted in, letting your body be heavy. And maybe there's an intention that you're working with in life. It could be an intention. It could also just be maybe there's an area of life that doesn't feel super clear. Maybe it feels like you'd like some support or guidance. So just take a moment and identify maybe a question or an area of life that you'd like some support around. And just bring that into the forefront. Maybe in your mind's eye, you could see it as an image, or just bring it to the forefront of your awareness. And we're asking the earth to assist us in clarity. And we're letting go of how this happens. So it's not going to be logical. It's not going to be linear in the way that we normally find answers or find clarity. It may come through in a very surprising way. So just kind of be open to that. So when you're ready, you can begin to invite energy from the earth up this grounding cord through your inhales. So just gently begin to inhale and invite energy from the earth up this grounding cord and eventually up into your body. And just trusting that there's clarity and support in this process as you invite it in. And this is where you've got all the permission in the world to move if you want to move. You could sound if you want to sound. Everyone's eyes are closed and you're all muted. So just do what you feel called to do. And if it's just to sit in silence, that's okay too. But as you breathe this up into your body, you may want to make sounds. You might feel mudras or movements coming through. Just be open how this wants to move through you. And as you're breathing this up into your body, it's almost as though you're filling up your body like a cup, like an empty cup, and you're filling it up. So see where you're at in your process, how far up this earth energy has filled. Maybe it's all the way up to maybe your hips. Maybe you want to move it all the way up your torso into the heart. Just keep moving it up, filling all of the spaces, your whole internal landscape. And if there's areas of the body that need a little extra love and support, you can send more of it there. So notice how the messages may start to come through for you. And we'll take maybe 3 or 4 more inhales to fill this cup all the way up to the top of your head. So as you're feeling the saturation of this earth energy in your body, begin to notice your third eye, that space, the middle of your forehead, maybe even your crown. And sometimes it's helpful for me if I'm wanting clarity, if I want to kind of open more, I can breathe all the way up and hold the breath at the top of my head just for a couple seconds longer than I normally would. You can play with that. Just fill all the way up, making sure that this energy is all the way up to the top of your head, the crown. And notice if there was an area of your body that maybe was speaking to you either through that process or in this moment. Maybe it holds your higher self. You could call it your intuition, whatever word you want to put to that. So identify an area of the body that holds some wisdom for you today. And again, it may not be logical, it could just be intuitive. Just identify that. And if you're able to place a hand there or both hands, maybe do that, connect in. And saying internally, I see you and I'm listening. And maybe even asking a question again or posing this life situation to this area of the body. And in a moment, we're actually going to free write from this area of the body that holds some wisdom. So when you're ready, you can just gently open your eyes and just move straight over to your journal. And free writing just means don't edit yourself. Keep the pen moving. I'm going to time you for about 3 minutes. And the prompt is, what I want you to know is, and it could be about that situation. So you could start with, what I want you to know is, and then let your body or intuition just speak. And keep the pen moving. Just a couple more minutes. So if you want to play with this for the last minute or so, you can switch to your non-dominant hand and see what comes out that way. You can also draw. So maybe take the next like 30 seconds or so and just finish up wherever you're at. And I think we actually, I do feel like we could share maybe one or two people actually right now instead of later. It feels better instead of waiting. So just kind of feel into whether or not you'd be willing to share what stood out to you. So come on back when you're ready. And raise your hand if you are willing to just share a little bit. No pressure. If you're willing to share what came through for you. Might be a no today. Okay, I'll check in again at the end. Cool. All right, I'm just gonna keep rolling then. Here we go. All right. So let me just tell you a little bit about Yothera. Several of you kind of know about it, but here's where it's going. And then I want to, have a few people speak about their experiences with it, and then also question and answer. So, sorry, can you guys hear that? Is that me? Somebody's dinging? No, you can't hear that? Sorry if that's me and I don't realize it. Give me a sec. I don't know. Okay. Okay, so the Yothera method is a 3-phase process of basically rewriting old stories of the mind into your new story through the body and your own natural intuition. So the phase 1 of the Yothera method is all about the mind. It's about breaking down, your defense mechanisms. It's about using archetypes. It's about looking at blind spots. It's really all about psychology. So phase 1 is the mind, because we do have to acknowledge the mind, and we need to really get clear on what old stories we have so that we can actually transform them. And then phase 2 is all about moving that old story through the body and natural intuition to rewrite it. And those of you that have worked with me understand that my belief is that we hold everything that we need is in the subconscious mind, which is all in the body. So it's working with the subconscious mind through the body to rewrite that story. Phase 3 is about being witnessed and seen in that new story. So it's that's kind of in a nutshell what Yothera is, and there's all different ways of experiencing it. And the first way is through really kind of at your own pace. I have a self-study course. It's called Embody Your New Story. It takes you through the 3 phases. And that's what most people have done. There's quite a few people, there's probably over 100 people that have bought the course and are working through it on their own. And the thing with that is it's hard to do a self-study course because there's no accountability. And so it's kind of, the feedback that I've received is that they love it, but it's hard to finish it and sometimes even hard to start it. So I'm doing a support group for those people that are in the self-study course. And then that's going to start in July 12th, actually. And so super, low maintenance, super low cost. It's just a support group for people that want to have more of a collective experience around that process. So that's the first way to experience it. And the woman that was wanting to speak on her experience of that is not here. So I'm curious if those of you that have gone through it, would you like to speak about your experience of that? And no worries if not. I know several of you have gone through that. Anybody want to share? Okay, no worries. If you do, let me know.
Jess.
Jane? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so I made it halfway through that course before we went to Sedona, and it was so helpful. And what transpired in Sedona, so helpful. And I feel it literally from the room that it's in, talking to me right now. It's like, hey, remember me, so it's on my, I made a list of unresolved things that are in my life right now. So my taxes are nearly done finally. So that was the first one. And, but I can literally hear it. It's like, there is value here in this second half. And so, yeah, but it's really hard to do self-study. It is for me extremely difficult because I can just I can let myself not do it. So just, yeah, that's my experience.
Totally. Thanks, Jane. I appreciate that. Awesome. Cool. Awesome. Well, so that's just number one. I'll just put that out there. The second way is, so Jane brought it up, I do retreats. So I did a Sedona retreat. 12 of you were there and it was amazing. And I'm doing another one November 10th through the 12th. And it's basically for anyone that's involved in the Yothera method already and wants to kind of come together with other people that are doing the process, wherever you're at in the journey. So I asked Marcy if she wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about her experience there. And while she's doing that, I'm going to drop the link in the chat if anyone's interested in checking that out. But go ahead, Marcy, anything you want to say about that?
Perfect. I started working with Jess a couple of years ago before she had made the self-study, there was a group that she taught. And so exactly what Jane said, I don't think I could have done a self-study on my own, but we had the support group in there and that made it absolutely amazing. And that started that Yothera experience and got to meet some really amazing people also doing that. And then when she said that she was going to do some retreats, especially in Sedona, even though I had just been to Sedona a couple months beforehand, which was the only apprehension I had of doing it again, which was I was just there, but it almost made it just even that much more magical to actually go to that space, and more magical being there with all of the other amazing people like Jane and Jess and a whole bunch of other people that were there that were mostly from the Boise area, but even if they weren't, they're still an amazing connection. But what has been really powerful is the connections that we've built with each other since being back from that space. So we regularly will run into each other, those people that were at the retreat at some amazing yoga classes or for coffee or some other conscious building classes, business classes and things. So it seems like it was an amazing way to meet other people that were wanting to do exactly what I've wanted to do. And so the experience that we had that was so powerful while we were at the retreat also was able to be carried over and actually remains just as powerful. And not every retreat or conference or places that people end up going that happens, but Jess did an absolutely amazing job of just creating space before we even went on the retreat, of helping us connect with each other, helping us connect with the land that was going to be there. And then when we all showed up, just creating this place to really just melt into that retreat space with all of her Yothera things, with some other amazing healers that came in with some things like sound baths and other intuitive sessions, and just being able to really settle in. And I feel like I'm only going to speak for myself, but I would say that everybody else I've spoke to has said very similar things, that it really just like cracked your heart open. in ways that I think a lot of people have been craving. I know I was craving, and just really allowed these connections and these really deeper intuitive abilities to come forward, and to healing to occur, and just so many magical things. And it was really just a couple of days. I mean, on one hand, it was so powerful for the days that we were there and the times that we were there. And I think any other place that Jess offers retreats, whether it's Sedona or other places, she's just so amazing at choosing all things that make it magical. It's not just like, hey, this is a good deal, we should just go to this place. I mean, she really wraps around everything. So you're feeling it in the land, you're feeling it with her, you're feeling it with the people that are called to work with her. So that's been my experience with doing it. I would definitely do retreats with her again. And I continue to work with her now. So, you know, I think it just continues to deepen all of that. So, yeah. So anybody who's remotely thinking about working with her, or even just going to the retreat, I do not think anybody would be disappointed at all. You'll actually probably be really surprised at how much deeper you go in just those moments of carving out time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's sweet. Come to Hawaii and meet myself and maybe Travis. Travis does body work, so maybe he'll be there too. Yeah, cool. Thank you, Marcy. Appreciate that. So that's the second way that you can maybe come work with me. And then the third way is one-on-ones. So let me just be brief on this, but basically I've been wearing way too many hats with one-on-ones. So I've been trying to move out of just doing clinical work. I've been seeing, you know, Blue Cross people for a while, and then I do mentorship, and I do professional mentorship, and I do breathwork sessions, and I do yoga therapy and intuitive work. So I've been spread too thin. So this is my attempt to be like, this is what I do. This is what I'm focusing on. You know, I want to work with people that are invested in the Yothera method and want to develop their gifts and want to go deeper. So that's really my intention for doing things like this, and helping me to be accountable as well. So that being said, the one-on-one work that I'm feeling called to do now is more with, you could call it, the general umbrella would be helping professionals, but I really don't want people to get hung up on that and go, oh my God, like you're not going to work with me because I don't have a degree or something. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I want to work with people that are of service in the world in their own way. So everyone here fits that. So yeah, and then Stacy, I just asked Stacy to say a few things about that. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you. And I'll drop a link in there too. Thanks, Stacy.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. I'm Stacy, and I've been working with Jess, I'm going to say between 2 and 3 years. I was trying to figure out how long, but it's been a little while. I'm a clinical counselor. I'm also a speech language pathologist. And as I was stepping into doing clinical counseling, I thought, you know, it'd be really neat to blend yoga and counseling. And I didn't realize that at the time I reached out to Jess that I was going to have such a impactful few years and go through this type of spiritual awakening. I had a difficult diagnosis that really made me stop and refrain and kind of change my view of the world. And when I did that, I started meditating a lot and tapping into the Yothera work. So I took the Yothera class, the in-person class, and I used that to be able to feel safe in my body after I had a cancer diagnosis. And the more I meditated, the more different, I guess my intuition kind of came online. And so I started working with Jess one-on-one because I didn't know what to do with all of this intuition. I didn't know if I was going crazy or if it was real. And being able to work with Jess through like a cancer diagnosis, through like a spiritual awakening process, through understanding like some intuition that I think came, you know, through for me through this process, it's just been invaluable. And she's Jess, I'll talk about you like you're not here, but
Perfect.
smart and intuitive and really just very giving with her gifts and just really real and honest. So it just was a gift to me. Mm.
Thank you, Stacy.
And so I would highly recommend, if you get the chance, to work with Jess one-on-one. And also the little piece I wanted to add was I didn't know how to blend this new me in with my work because I've been so clinical my whole life. So being able to work with somebody who's successfully blending all different parts of herself into a really intelligent practice was great, because I didn't have any other role models for that. So that piece too was wonderful. So I can't say enough great things.
Thanks, Stacy. Sounds like I asked the right people to speak today. Thanks, you guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I want to just kind of acknowledge the time, and I want to give enough space for everybody to kind of open up and maybe even introduce yourself if you want to. No pressure, but I want to, who are you, if you'd like to share, and like what drew you to be here with us today, and if you want to share about your experience when we did our connection to the earth, it's all welcome here. So don't be shy. It's a small group. I won't call on you either. I'm just going to allow.
Okay, so even though I already spoke, I guess I didn't really say who I was. So I'm actually a licensed marriage and family therapist, and was a yoga instructor. And then now I also do Reiki. So again, what I loved about what Jess brings to the table and meeting other people through this process is how to even integrate all of this together in like who you are and what to do, and finding other people that want to be doing this kind of cool stuff in the world, and just not knowing how to do it. And I think that this is what I've learned, one of the huge things I've learned. So not just personally how to maneuver through all my own things, I find that I'm showing up just so much better as a person helping others or being in the world, but also just feeling just different in the world and feeling more integrated with all of that. So so that's what I've been also loving about it, and meeting other people, trying to bring a bunch of cool things into whatever we're all doing and figuring out how to do that, because otherwise it feels pretty lonely trying to figure it out. So that's what I've loved about it.
Marcy.
I'm going to talk again just for a sec. I am at the stage of life where I'm winding down instead of like gearing up. I have a private practice. I'm an LCSW, and I have a private practice in Boise, and it's called Moving Forward, because that's my whole thing is taking this and moving forward, not dragging a bunch of stuff with me, but moving forward. And what I love about the work that I've done with Jess is it's so personal. It's very personal. It's not a cookie cutter. It is. There's plenty of space. This is what I really experienced in Sedona. There was plenty of space for me to do it my way, which is really good for me. It's something about, I don't know if this has anything to do with age, but I've always tried to do it the way somebody else wanted me to do it most of my life, make sure that I'm doing it the way somebody else thinks is a good way to do it. And all of that just really has gone out the window, and allowed me to tune into my own intuition, my own knowingness, and to move forward in my life. It's very individual and it's very personal. And I just, I appreciate you, Jess, and Marcy. It's so good to see you. And I give Marcy credit for me doing my first cold plunge. I will be forever grateful. One of the highlights of my life. I am not kidding you. So thank you guys.
That's awesome. Thanks, Jane. Cool. April, yeah.
So I started working with Jess one-on-one. I think it's been a few months. And I had a few years ago, before COVID, I was looking for a counselor to do like kind of something different. And at the time, she didn't take insurance. And so I was like, there's just no way that can happen. And then COVID hit and everything. And then I looked her up again, and it just, this the one insurance she takes is what I have with my husband. So I think for me, it's kind of what Jane was saying, where you just do what others want you to do and go where they want you to go, say what they want you to say. And for me, my youngest are twin boys who just graduated high school. So I'm going into like empty nesting phase, and just learning to try to like embrace myself and feel safe within my own self, which is something from trauma that I haven't been able to do so much. And I think my kids were like a buffer for me for all those 23 years I've been raising them. And so, and when Jane said that moving forward, it's a phrase you used, and I literally just made a playlist a couple weeks ago that says like move forward. And so I feel excited, a little more excited now versus scared of say a month ago. Even though I don't know what it looks like, I'm excited to continue to work with Jess and have the opportunities to do some of the things that you guys have shared.
Exciting. Thanks, April. Awesome. Yeah, go ahead, Deborah.
I'm Deborah. I'm an LCSW, an intuitive. And I had been a trauma therapist for 15 years. And then I had my own break and had to take a long leave of severe compassion fatigue. And right now I'm kind of having a hard time of feeling safe in my body and understanding that missing piece for me of trauma work, which is embodiment. And for me, embodiment meant distress in my body. And I'm actually going through that right now. Today is my first day of calming down the internal tremors I've had for 2 weeks. I've been in a break in the deep shadows for 2 weeks, and I've finally been pulling out and coming through. So this is really charged for me right now. I've had, I think, 2 or 3 sessions one-on-one with Jess so far, and it's been beautiful. I've worked with a lot of intuitives, and I just absolutely loved the way that you present and show up and work with me. It feels safe, and it's my language. And it's one of the first, I feel like having met you feels like I finally found somebody who understands, and I need to integrate all the different pieces of me into one. I'm also been winding down. I mean, I've been back working in a small private practice just the past 2 years, and I kind of just want to keep it very small. But then again, I don't know. I'm kind of in this place of, I don't know what the future holds. I know that I want to heal and I want to be safe in my body. And I do want to share that this practice that we just did earlier was amazing. This was really a beautiful message that came through. And I kind of would like to share it, if I may, because you said that's the witnessing.
Please. Yeah, please.
And the other part of that is I've signed up for Yothera. I think it was for the online, self-paced course. I don't know if it was like 6 months ago or 5 months ago. I haven't even looked at it. I think I read the first page. And so I'm really excited about, that's part of me coming to this open house to get me motivated to get back in, because I know this is the foundation and the real source I need, instead of like, this is a good foundation. And I feel that, and I feel supported here. So yeah, and I'm looking forward to maybe the support groups to get me through the self-study course. But I want to share what I wrote, just to be witness, because this is new for me. What I want you to know is that I'm your friend. I'm not your enemy. Why have you left me? Come back. I love you. I want you and I need you. And I need your attention and affection. I'm safe here. And I'm beautiful as I am. Don't try to change me and alter me and constantly try to fix me. Just come home to me. I've waited eons for you, and I can't wait to meet you here again. You push yourself so hard, so judgmental, so critical of yourself. And me, We are not separate. We are one. We got this together. Let's rock and roll this. Let's kill this diagnosis that we still have so many years left to play. I was just diagnosed a few days ago with a pituitary cyst, and it was really scary. Not pituitary, I keep saying that. My pineal gland. And I don't understand that. Being an intuitive. And so I'm having a hard time with it. And so the right hand told me, if you could see me as I see you, I wouldn't survive. You've been so mean to me. I forgive you. I love you. I'm sorry, and I thank you. I just want to feel safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you for sharing, allowing us to witness.
Thank you. And what I've already heard brings me so much hope. And Stacy, you know, with what you shared. And I have a lot of stuff going on in my body. And it's scary. And I want to embody myself. And I feel like I'm in the right place.
Thank you, Deborah. Well, we have a couple minutes left. I'm open to any other shares. What wants to be witnessed here? Yeah, Tara.
And introduce myself. Yeah. Yeah, appreciate you all sharing, of course. Thanks for showing up. And yeah, so my name's Travis. I've lived in Hawaii for the last 10 years. 9 years on Maui, the last calendar year on Big Island, and now Maui kind of called me back. So on to the 11th year here. I've kind of known Jess for about I don't even know, 4 years now, probably.
Yeah.
Something like that. And we've never met in person, but it was just kind of an instant, you know, soul connection of recognition of the work that we're here to do. And pretty much for the last 4 years, been looking forward to actually connecting in the flesh, in real life. So that'll happen shortly. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, a little bit about me. It was, I mean, in a nutshell, I guess. Yeah, I've had a pretty interesting journey myself, you know, in life. And, you know, I started with kind of being very physically capable and very like physically embodied, let's say, in athletics and a lot of things that really challenge the talent, the skill sets, and the capabilities and function of the body. I've always been really, really good at that. And then losing my passion to utilize my body, some of my dreams and goals kind of didn't work out and fell away. So I went down this downward spiral for close to 10, 13 years of not having a purpose if I couldn't follow my dreams with my body, using my body. And that pretty much took me down to a crashing point, which happened just after moving to Maui. And then that actually, started with some really severe injury to my neck and mid back and my spine locked up. And I went through probably about an 8-year process of actually, like unwinding from that severe pain. And interestingly enough, like I could see in that moment that that injury was actually a culmination point. Like I could feel it so clearly, and I knew immediately, even without any spiritual insight, that was the culmination of my life, getting to a place where it was so far away from where it was supposed to be, that all of a sudden the body flared up and broke down and went into a defense pattern. And so that was kind of the bottom and the slow awakening, if you will. And then probably after about 4 years of dealing with pretty intense, severe pain, and chronic pain and a lot of flare-ups, like I finally ended up, you know, Maui has its way with people. And I'm sure, Jess, you'll feel it when you get out here. But
I already feel,
you know, but yeah, I've had, I ended up finally just getting to a place where I was so surrendered, and I was so kind of, you know, like really just, you know, egotistically like surrendered and kind of just being like, you know what, I really am missing something. I have no idea what to do. And then Maui kind of answered the call. And then I had a couple of different mystical experiences and pretty profound awakenings within a single year. And that has kind of really scattered all of my ways of seeing life and knowing life, and put me through a pretty deep excavation spiritually and otherwise for the last 5 years, since 2018. And it's just, yeah, since then, it's like I know that as I heal my psyche, my emotions, my mentality, as I integrate deep degrees of truth and spiritual wisdom and love, that actually is what heals, my body. Not relying on someone else to fix me, not relying on another therapist to do the work for me. And so that's kind of been my process. And yeah, I'm formerly like a licensed massage therapist. I've been one for about 8 years. And so a lot of my work kind of revolves nowadays, after having some stability and some integration of all of that stuff and all of those awakenings and excavations. A lot of that has been starting to really flow into my bodywork practice also. So I find myself pretty consistently having like pretty holistic sessions with my clients. So it's like they get bodywork and spiritual integration and therapy all in like the same package, which is amazing and brilliant, So we get to go pretty deep. And then, yeah, looking forward to, I can definitely feel like the energy of support, collaboration coming, and kind of a new shift in terms of really finding the right people that we're all meant to work together with. And looking forward to stepping into not only just, my formal bodywork practice, like in terms of therapeutic and transformational bodywork, but also just feeling really like potent expression of what I'm, like we all have a unique expression. We're all here to say something, share something in our own way that people need as part of our awakening. And I'm looking forward to be able to do more of that myself. So that's a nice large nutshell of my life so far.
Thank you, Travis.
Yeah.
It's so cool to hear more of your story, actually. It's awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Wow, everybody, thank you so much for everyone that did share. And yeah, thank you for your time. Your time is valuable. So thank you for showing up to this very brief moment in time. And is there any last questions that I can answer before? No. I'll be sending out everything that's in the chat. I'll be sending out, to everyone that signed up, and then I'll send the replay as well. But please don't hesitate to reach out to me or anything like that if you want to connect further on anything we talked about. So super grateful to everybody. So thank you so much. Have a good night.
Also inspiring. Thank you.
Thanks, Deborah. All right, guys, have a good night. Bye.
Aloha.
Aloha.